Hello, people who are here already. The squealing noise you can hear is my puppy playing with my older dog. I'm going to sort that out. Luna,
Hello, everyone.
come on. Come on. Oh no, I've got a circle of things going on. There we go. Hi everyone. This is Luna Pup. She's very squealy today. Go down. Go on. I finished that video at lunchtime, so it's really good. I'm really glad we were able to keep our deadline for you. It's lovely to have you here. And we're using a new piece of software that just works. It's so fun. I can see all of your comments.
Ooh,
so good.
people. Yeah, real people.
You can read all of this stuff. Wonderful. Wonderful. We've got some big news. I'll just show you. That. I might just leave that there forever. Let's have a look at that. What do you think of that, Rand?
I can't believe it, and it hasn't sunk in yet, and it's going to take a while to actually process everything that's been going on.
Quite a nice day then.
Yeah. Can you all hear us okay?
Let's hope. People normally shout if they can't. I once had my dad phone me up going, Laura, we can't hear you. I was like, thanks, Dad. Helpful. Above Harry Styles. That's where everyone should be. I don't know why I said that out loud. It's been a wonderful few days. It's always so terrifying and exciting to put music out into the world. And I'm always like, I don't want to do a disservice to my supporters because you've all been incredibly loyal over the years. And so it would be really disingenuous to go, oh, I'm never sure if anyone's going to want to listen because, you know, you've shown me time and time again that you do. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for that. Luna, please stop screaming. Really undercutting the emotion here. Puppies, what are you going to do? So yes, I right over to you.
So yes, as Laura was saying, we're absolutely are blown away by this, and it's all down to you, every one of you guys that's helped us out on this.
Sit with me now, Pet.
It's been such a surreal experience, but I've had my friend keeping me company, and my other friend keeping me company, and of course my new guitar, which is always going to keep me company.
Sit down, sweetie.
Oh, bless.
We'd love to answer any of your questions in the comments. So but you're also obviously chatting as well. So that our tired eyes can pick up on the questions, please type question at the beginning, and then we'll be able to talk to you about stuff. So if you've got any questions about particular songs or how we did things, let me know in the comments. There's some more stuff coming up this week. There's going to be a very special one-off episode of Attention Engineer, my podcast, coming later in the week. Should be Wednesday, might be Thursday, hopefully Wednesday. And tomorrow night we've got a listening party on Twitter with Tim Burgess. Why not? Why not? What is my life? I don't take any of this for granted. It's very exciting. And it's quite nice to have dogs in my life who just go, I don't know what music is, but I definitely want my dinner. Thanks.
So so for Andrew, Rat and Laura, I need to know your favourite tracks. All of them.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I haven't got one. I really haven't. My favourite track is the last one I listen to before the next one starts.
One of my favourites is Elephant, because I remember when I finished writing that, I just thought that's my favourite, one of my favourite choruses I've ever written. But I like all the other ones as well. Old Kindnesses is a funny one. I was high on a Moderna when I wrote that, and I think you can hear that something's not quite right in the brain that day. When I say high on Moderna, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about the COVID jab. I haven't got some fancy drugs that I'm into. Absolutely not. Just COVID jabs.
The one that hit me emotionally has to be Glitter to Dust. The first time I heard just the lyrics, the vocals on that song, I literally sat here in shock, as I am today. Yeah, that one's a cracking song. And I don't think you guys expected anything like that to be on this album.
Yeah, I don't know that people know what it's about. It's not probably here's not the place to go into it because it's a real downer, but it's one of
Yeah.
my classic super sad songs, fear of death kind of song. And it's been really lovely to see people commenting that they really like that song because it means a lot to me. It was really hard to. This might sound super phony, but I hope you know that I never am. Like, I remember I wrote it, I burst into tears while writing it, and I actually was writing it on camera. So it's the day before I was writing Porcupine on camera, which I've shared on my YouTube channel. I wrote this other song, and it was just to see if I could capture the songwriting process for myself and to see if it'd be useful to share with other people. I love you too, babe. Hello.
So yeah, it's great having Luna here.
She's
So
sweet.
we get a lot of questions about, are we going to play live? Are we going to tour? And the answer is we don't know. We're not
No idea.
looking. We haven't really talked about it. We're still in shock with what's going on with this at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
If we did do something, we'd do something special, which means you're probably all going to have to dress up as robots, and that's the entrance ticket. We've kind of set at least a robot. We've set the benchmark on robot costumes now. We don't know. As soon as we figure something out or we talk about it, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, it's not a secret. Like, it will never be a secret from you that we're playing. We'll definitely tell you. But really and truly, everything is done basically in this room, mostly by me. And so there's no way I could have got this record ready for release, done, made all the merch and all the things, got stuff to warehouses. It's all that sort of stuff that you don't know that goes into something, and then also be booking a tour and also be everything else. So it's not that we don't want to come and see you and celebrate. That would be lovely, but it's not as simple as that. And without making it a really boring long answer, let's just go with Rat's answer, which is it would just have to be something so special to match the songs, really, to match what's been going on.
When we've been talking about, when we're saying it is just us, the royal we, as we've talked about in the past, everything that you do see on the screen, the videos, the editing, all the shop stuff, that is all Laura.
I thought you were going to say it was all you. And I thought you were going to say that was all me.
Oh, I know. No, it is absolutely all Laura. The work that's gone into this and the hours is just insane. And I've tried helping.
So tour. No time to tour at the moment, I'm afraid. It's fun though. I just like making all this stuff. I also because that stuff is there. It's like I get to a point with any album where I just think, have I done enough to share this? Am I going to regret not staying up all night to finish that video for tomorrow and things like that? And so I am really trying to make sure that there's enough stuff. It's not all about trying to find new people. It's about trying to make a really beautiful experience from start to finish for people who are with us from the start. So from the emails to the videos to all the different things that will give you an insight into how we made it, if you want that. Some people just want to listen to the songs. That's absolutely wonderful. Like, that is great. But I think it's really worked nicely to have all these different things, and there's sort of reached a sort of tipping point. About last week, I just started hearing from people saying that they hadn't been this excited about a new album coming out in like 20 or 30 years. And I just thought, because everything can be so sort of throwaway, so you just click on something and you click away. However great the stuff is, it's so easy to just like move past, just scroll by something. And so I think all artists probably share my fear of like going on about stuff too much, like, oh, she's banging on about an album again, boring, so I've tried to make it really different and interesting and have all these different things for that reason. Is there something in the comments where you're just laughing at me? I was being quite serious.
I'm listening to you. So if you look at X Electronics,
right?
Can I grass you up on who you actually are? Is he going to say yes or not?
Okay, let's put that on the screen because that's what we can do in this wonderful software.
So
tell that story.
I'm going to grass you up anyway. So X Electronics, that's Aid from Swerve Driver.
Hello.
And we did a tour across America with Swerve Driver, and it was fantastic, whatever. And we accidentally had a party at a hotel, and Aid accidentally ended up in the swimming pool, and it was just a complete accident all the time. And I think, Aid, you were flying home the next day, but your passport was in your pocket. And I don't think it dried out in time. So there's a story for you.
There you go. Rock and roll. Well, if we can't tour in that
So
fashion, then we're doing it.
That's why I was laughing about that one.
I'm really appreciating this comment from James. I would also love to know what they think of that. It'd be really interesting to know. In another world, if I was, someone who was driven by money and greed, I might go and contact all of them and try and hire out my services. But I'm not going to be doing that. I've got an album to write. So, Stuart, don't worry if you missed the video premiere, but you can watch it anytime. It's now there forever. So there you go. I'm looking down to see if there's any more questions here.
There's Aid. Correct. My passport swelled up to the size of an encyclopedia. I'll tell you later, Laura.
This is a good question.
Go on. Go.
What would you say has influenced the music you've made together? Rat.
Ooh.
Because you started off all of the songs. What influenced you?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I can only play guitar in one certain way. And we had a conversation, probably frustrated the hell out of you at the very beginning when you said, so what do you want it to sound like? And I said, I don't know. Well, what sort of feeling do you have? I don't know. So Laura came up with all these probing questions, and my only answer was, I don't know. So I wasn't very helpful from the very beginning on this one.
That was good, because then I just said whatever the fuck I wanted, which is what I like to do anyway.
And I said, yes, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any like influences other than the fact that that's the only way I can play guitar and have these songs come out of my head. Or sorry, the riffs come out of my head. They're not even songs, to be honest. I mean, some of the stuff I sent to Laura was just a guitar riff with bits missing in places.
Yeah, and but it was fun because then I just got to chop stuff up. So if there was a bit of a riff and then I thought it should stop somewhere, and like, or it could I think I even moved some of them around, made them like a bit longer, and so you had to relearn all of it, didn't you? Because I'd made it sound completely different. And then I'd go, okay, well, we need a bit here. So I would leave it like an 8-bar gap or something. And a couple of them, or maybe at least one of them, I just put some chords in myself. And then some I sent back to Rat and said, put something in here, please. And he did. And it's just really nice. It's just like a sort of cut and paste collagey thing, which is how I write songs when I write songs on my own anyway. I just come up with little bits and then I layer stuff up. In terms of my influences for the music we've made together, I just wanted to sound like me. I've never tried to sound like another band. I just have no interest in that. So I'd rather make it really hard for people to go, it sounds like whatever. But that's not the reason. The reason is I just want to sound like myself. And so my when I sent reference tracks to Chris Sheldon for mixing, I sent him 17 off of Exotic Monsters, which is my last solo album, because I just thought that was sort of the most towering guitar sounding thing I had done in recent times, and I wanted it to be at least as good as that, the mixing. So yeah, no influences really.
So the nerd question, the Gretsch guitar is I'm on the use for the song. The Gretsch guitar is on quite a few of the songs, to be honest, as I used a blend of guitars to get the sound together. The other reason I use it in the video is because of Facebook standards. It's the one with no swearing on it.
Yeah, we've had to tone down on the constant sloganeering of swear words, because I want people to be able to see it. I also, I did swear just then. I used to swear a lot on stage because it's fun, and I swear a lot in daily life. But then when I started making my channel, I was like, let's just make it so everyone can actually enjoy this, because some people, you can be a lot more erudite without using swear words, as I just proved by saying erudite.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good one. You see that question, Rat?
Yes.
What's the answer, lol?
It's a pot of tea. Because I don't drink.
I would have coffee, or maybe lime and soda. So we're cheap people to buy presents for, aren't we? That's good.
Yeah.
Right, I'm still going down here. Down questions. Oh, this is a good one.
About the small, yep.
suppose it's 10, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh no, you wrote some extra
no.
ones.
Yeah, none of the ones from that mile sessions were used, I don't think, in the end.
Really?
Yeah, well, you've still got those to write to.
I just find some free time. I'm a bit busy.
No, honestly, I don't think, because I sent those across to Laura and they were just acoustic ones, which scared Laura because she thought I was wanting to write a folk album.
And I don't want to write a folk album.
And that was the one thing I said, no, it's not a folk album. These are just my guitars. And then Laura came up here one summer afternoon. It would have been, wouldn't it? And that was the first time I'd played Laura a song that was heavy guitars.
Was that the one we didn't finish?
No.
Was that Stand and Deliver? We never finished.
No, that's not the quiet type. That's the one that became not the quiet type. And that was the first one that I sent to you as the furthest along.
You've got to remember this has taken us nearly 4 years, so I can't remember a thing about the start. It's so long ago. No recollection whatsoever. But yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That's none. Cool. Oh no, thanks. No thanks. Do you hope to do more singles, EPs, or even another album? Again, we've been very busy doing this. We have been so busy. We have been up all night editing videos, and we have been doing so much stuff. We don't know. I have no answer to that right now. I really need to write a Penfriend album next. Doesn't mean to say I don't know how long. I don't think that's going to take 4 years, so I'll be free sooner than 4 years time. Yeah. Let's have a look here. We do it all again. Oh, same question basically. Thank you for wanting more. That's great. I think the sequencing is great. We went back and forth on that a bit, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I
was done.
And then it was done. I burnt it to a CD and then spent days driving around listening to it. And that's what we do. Yeah. So we did put a lot of thought into it, but it was quite quick in how it came up.
Yeah. There's just certain things where, so I always like to program albums as if they're cassette tapes, and I know some people do it as if it's vinyl. It's basically the same thing, isn't it? So track 1 is the opening of the cassette side A, and track 5, if there's 10 tracks, is the closing one. So I always want to have a strong opener, strong closer, strong opener, strong closer, and so that's how I always look at things. And then we had a thing where, so Inside Out was maybe going to be on the album for a while, and that was going to clash with Glitter to Dust and probably Super Connected. Like that, I didn't think that any of those 3 could be next to each other. So there's like trying to space stuff out in that way to create a journey through the album. I always think of it that way. How about you, Rat?
Yeah, no, totally. It wouldn't have fitted. It really wouldn't have fitted. But it's still a great song in its own right that I do absolutely love. So
it was very difficult to record. It was like unbelievably hard. It's like there were gremlins in every aspect, apart from my bit. My bit was great. There were gremlins in it, the strings, gremlins in the guitars. And I just got to the point where I was like, why did I say it was going to be a double A side? Why didn't we just do one song? But it was one of those exercises in pushing through to complete something, which is what all of these are. All of these big projects, you have to just keep going. And that was just a double A side. So it was just a little test, I guess. It worked out in the world, but because it was like pulling my own teeth out of my head making that song a reality, so it took me quite a long time to enjoy it. I like it now, but I had to listen to it many times to get over all of the sort of the pain that I went through producing that song. It was a nightmare. So I'm glad you like it, Rat.
There's actually a really good question here from Nick. You've shown us pictures of a whiteboard with 2 extra songs on it, Rubik and Stand and Deliver. Will we ever get to hear these? You've just heard Rubik, because Rubik became Elephant.
Yeah. Rubik was the name that Rat had given it, and because when Rat gives me things, they're bits of guitars, they're brilliant little bits. There's no reason for it to be called Rubik because there weren't any lyrics yet. I did think sometimes I really like that though. I actually love writing songs when I've just come up with a title. So I wanted to try and make it actually be Rubik because I think it's a great name for a song, but it just didn't turn out that way. Will you stop whining, please?
Well, Rubik was one actually that I incurred the wrath of Laura on. Yes, it's the one that
I don't remember anything.
I'd done that drum pattern on a drum machine loop, and you kept going, it's wrong, it's out of time. Do you not know how to
It was
quantize?
horrendous. I
And
was
I'm
much
looking at
more
it
polite
going,
than you're making out. Thank you very much. I was very nice to you,
I
even though it was
can
hurting my
imagine.
brain.
I can imagine in the background you were.
There's something about when things are really out of time, or if they're really out of tune, it just hurts my head. I have to turn it off. And I was like, I can't. I think I just muted them in the end and just went,
Yeah.
I don't need to hear that.
But Stand and Deliver, okay, it was a good song
Yeah.
at the time. It was one of the first ones that we sort of pulled together. Probably won't hear it. Nothing wrong with
I think
it.
the chorus is good. I think, do you know what though? I think that song I was kind of writing as if I was in the Wonder Stuff. I think it's a really Wonder Stuff chorus,
Okay.
which is to say, not to toot my own horn. I just mean the Wonder Stuff are amazing. So it doesn't mean that I don't mean anything bad by that. It's wonderful, but I just thought I can imagine Miles singing this. So probably it's not really that me, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's him. So maybe he could sing it. We could ask. And the verse lyrics were rubbish. That's also why it's really bad. But Rat just thought they were finished, and I was like, no, these are terrible, terrible,
But
terrible words.
That's not the first time I've thought you've sent me finished lyrics, is it? There's been a
Oh
couple of
yeah,
other occasions.
which song was it where I put a musical joke in, and I just assumed you'd get it. I can't remember which song it was. Not Next Summer. There's a Feeder song. I'm not really a Feeder. Feeder are fine, like whatever. It's a band people like. There's a bit that goes, "Think we're gonna make it, yeah." That thing, and I did the chorus, and then I just put that at the end of the. Is it? Wait, which song is it? Anyway, I just put that on, and I just sent it over, and I was like, he's gonna laugh at this or think I've ripped it off or something. He just didn't say anything.
Get
I
it.
thought, we can't put that on there. It's obviously ripped off a Feeder, so I had to change it. But let's have a look. A live stream gig. That's more likely than a tour at present.
Yeah.
But that all of this means finding a drummer, rehearsing a band, getting people together, spending money, doing things, leaving the home. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lovely idea. It's really lovely that you want these things. Thank you. We'll try and do some stuff.
There's a question here, a Ned question about the word when we played with Oliver Reed. Do I remember it? Yeah, I do. And I've told Laura about this. It was an awful day because the production team set Oliver Reed up knowing the guy was a heavy drinker. They made sure they plied him with enough alcohol for it to be as chaotic as it was. So I do remember it. It was nice to meet him, but in one respect, I'm afraid it was horrible what they did to him.
Yeah, I watched that just the other week because of our affiliation. YouTube shows me all the Ned stuff, and it's just stuff that I've never seen. And so I watched. I think you did Intact. It's a really great performance of Intact, and then all this stuff with Oliver Reed. I was just like, ugh. I hope they wouldn't do that now. They shouldn't have done it then either. But one of these gross things.
Yeah, yeah, it shouldn't have happened, and they shouldn't have done it to him. They really shouldn't.
Simon asks, do the lyrics come first or the music, and does one inspire the direction of the other? In this case, the music came first. In that Rat would send me these bits we're talking about. I'm not downplaying it. Like long bits, so parts that could be a verse, parts that could be a chorus, parts that could be a bridge. I would move them around if I didn't, and then I start singing over. I start with melodies really. So rather than lyrics, I would start with melodies to go with those parts, and then wherever the melody takes me is where the chords need to go in the music. So if they weren't going where I wanted yet, then I would change them. And then when I'm writing the melodies, I start to write the lyrics as I do that, and then from there things kind of progress. And then it was a case of sort of like filling in any extra guitar bits, wasn't it? And then I would just like layer up loads of stuff afterwards. So all the synths and stuff came afterwards, right at the end, for the most part. And then we programmed, like between us, we sort of came up with drum ideas for songs. I programmed some of the stuff very exactly, and some of the stuff was more like a feel. And then we sent 8 of the songs off to Max Sidey to do drumming on those. And he records in his studio and then sends it back to me. So he was on my last album too. He's great.
But the one thing that as well that came to me is, so from what the idea started as for Laura to build up, it was Laura's vocals that then triggered me and the harmony to go and do the other bits of the guitar on there. So those wouldn't have existed if I hadn't have had the melodies that were coming in. And I could have written about 4,000 guitar tracks on most of the songs, to be honest, off all the melodies, but I didn't.
No, and the world thanks you for that.
Okay.
The world thanks you. You've done very well. Very tastefully done. We don't need any more. Favorite feedback on the album from one of your peers?
Oh,
one of my favorites is Rachel Goswell from Slowdive posted about it on Instagram the other day, and she's awesome. That was really cool.
I've got to say my feedback from one of my peers has got to be the review that Milo did, because that just blew me away. I didn't expect that. I sent him different bits of tracks in different stages as we were going along, and he really liked them. And then we had a secret link, and I sent him that. And then Milo was pretty much, I'm going to review this. And we were like, okay, please, but not yet. It's a bit, just wait a bit, please. And yeah, so we sent Milo a test pressing and he did the review. And that means a lot to me. It really does.
Yeah, I should have said that one.
No, it's all right.
Obviously, it's that one. Because I've been listening to his music since I was like 15 years old. And to be written about like that is so flattering. And what I also really appreciate is that he didn't do the lazy comparisons that I get every single time I put music out, which is it sounds like this band with a woman singing and this band with a woman singing, and the, like maybe it does. It's really nice that someone's music can remind you of the music that you love, but it doesn't mean it sounds like it necessarily. So I just really appreciated that. I'm getting barked at by 2 dogs now. Over to you, Rat. I'm going to go and let these 2 out. Go down. They don't care about any of this. This is the very humbling thing.
So the old hippo, you're asking if I find myself playing Ned's riff and starting on new songs. No, not really. They just start on an acoustic guitar. And I was talking in a video that I was doing that Laura did, where I don't know how I do what I do on a guitar, but I'm completely self-taught and it's my own style. I don't know how to play it any other way. So everything I write just comes from somewhere. I don't know where. I haven't got an artistic answer for it.
I always love the quote, "Inspiration finds you working." So I don't know if you agree with this, Rat, but if you don't pick up your guitar and play it, you're probably not going to come up with any guitar bits.
Oh, absolutely.
So same for me, really.
Yeah.
I come up with ideas and, I sometimes will hear little melodies in my head. To be honest, I haven't heard any this year because I've been focused on other things. But once I start getting into songwriting mode, which really, by which I mean I decide it's time to write some songs, that's all it is. It's a mindset. Then I'll start to come up with stuff.
But I mean, for me, for the last 4 years, I have literally been sat downstairs with a guitar all the time on my lap, working and writing and coming up with ideas for this. So the whole project or the whole process of the Obey Robots has just really reignited something in me that I can't really describe. And I was also thinking earlier today that it's just over a year ago that Laura got me on camera for the first ever time when we were down at Soundhorn, because I've always avoided cameras. So Laura's kind of brought all that out in me, which is why I'm happy as can be, to be honest. So you'd never normally have seen me. You'd have just seen that.
You seem so. Do you know what? I watched that video or a bit of that video the other day, and I thought, wow, you seem so different. Because I didn't think you seemed nervous at the time or anything. I thought you did. I think that video is really good, and you came across really well. But compared to now, like compared to you sitting there really comfortably now chatting, so totally different.
Yeah.
But I have a similar thing with video. So before I started my channel about a year and a half ago, like I'd had a long period of time where I really was having some sort of like, issues on how I looked and like how I spoke, how I came across and all that. I just didn't feel comfortable speaking in front of people. This is before all the lockdown stuff as well. And I just thought I really want to do something about this because don't like feeling this way. So I started filming myself and practicing. And so I have a similar thing where I can look back at early videos and just be like, wow, it's like another person, like a scared version of me. So it's really nice. It is helpful to do that. I'm glad that that's been a fun thing for you, because I would never push anyone to do that if they were really uncomfortable.
No, it has. And I'm really enjoying it to the extent that you're probably all going to get sick of me now, seeing this face.
You're going to start a vlog?
No.
You said you were going to do one, and I haven't seen it
well.
yet. I think you might have underestimated how much time it takes to edit things, Rat.
Maybe.
This is a great question from Mark. Some smaller artists these days complain an album costs too much to make because the streaming services reduce the sales too much. Does a DIY approach you took solve this? First of all, I haven't heard that particular comment, so I don't know what they mean exactly. Let's see. Complain an album costs too much because the streaming services reduce the sales. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The thing is, I see these artists though sending people to streaming first and foremost above everything else. And you might have noticed that we never mention the streaming. We never will share a streaming link. That's my personal rule. And I think Rat agrees with me on that, because if you want to stream something, you can find it. It's there. I'm not trying to stop anyone from streaming things. But if I spend my time and energy sending people to these websites instead of sending them to my shop or even Bandcamp or YouTube or somewhere where the stuff is, in a nicer environment, in my opinion, or there's an option to support the project, then of course people are going to click on the easy link, right? So that's how I've I just never engage with it. We actually have had a lot of streams on this album, especially I don't do well on streaming at all. I don't just mean that it doesn't pay much. I mean, I don't get many because I don't send anyone there, right? So we've been getting quite a lot because of the affiliation with Ned's Atomic Dustbin, of course. But then when you look at the number of sales that went through today to get the midweek chart position, oh, hold on. Maybe we should have a look at that again. Oh, hi. Okay. We got eight sales on streaming, and it's something like 40,000 listens.
Yeah.
So, and then you look at these other artists who are like, number 1, 2, 3, whatever. I can't remember who it was, but they've got like 200 streams, but they're obviously 200 sales from streams, but they're probably getting millions of streams. It's just ridiculous. But then why should it count towards the charts anyway? Whatever, charts schmarts. Like we just want. I just want to share music with you. I like this stuff is super exciting. What stuff? This stuff. Very exciting indeed, because let's not forget that I was a huge Blur fan as a teenager, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 steps away from Damon now. We're basically mates. So that stuff is exciting, but it's beside the point. The point is that we made music we're super proud of. We're excitedly sharing it with you, and you are making amazing things happen in our lives because you appreciate what we've done. So that's the thing. That's the exchange. This other stuff is like, whatever. It's funny to me because it's RCA, it's Polydor, it's all of these big, huge, like they are spending a lot of money promoting those 4 artists who are below us in the midweek chart. We are not spending a lot of money. We're spending some money. We're not spending a lot. So it's interesting.
So
sorry, yes, one.
I was going to say, I had a confession to make to Laura as well this week about an album that I bought on the week of.
Rat's a traitor.
I'm a traitor. So I pre-ordered an album in January, not really checking the date, and I got an email last Wednesday telling me your album's being dispatched, and I went, "Oh, sugar, that's on the same day ours is," and I hope I'm not contributing to it. And if you're interested, it was this album. My youth came back to me, and I was terrified in case we were like one position below the cult, and I'd have to go, sorry.
Thing is, Rat, what you could have done is bought a copy of ours.
To offset it, yes.
Hasn't done that. Haven't bought it yourself, Rat.
I haven't. No.
How could you? How could you?
I haven't, no, because they're sitting right here. Look at that. Yeah. And that's Gareth Evans has got a good question.
Which question is that?
Gareth Evans about the artwork.
I can't see that one.
7:36 it came in. I love the album.
Oh,
Thank you
okay.
so much. Can I ask who created the fabulous images for the album cover?
I'm just trying to find that one. You can answer the question. You know the
Right.
answer.
Yeah,
Don't you?
I know. So it was an amazing guy called Alex Tilbrook. So Laura had this idea, and we sat, we honestly did. This is true. This is not a lie. We sat in the Sainsbury's Cafe in Melksham having a 1-hour power meeting about everything to do with the album. And Laura had this concept idea of the circle with these around the outside with a robot in the middle, roughly drawn on in her notebook. And then Laura had the idea for, get my hands right, for the logo being like that.
Yeah.
And it was a day when we didn't have any recording. So Laura went home to do some stuff at her house, and I was staying there at the time. And I went off into the town in Bristol and went into HMV and then spent a good half hour flicking through all the vinyl. And when I got back to Laura's house, the first thing I said was, I've been looking at vinyl. I get your idea. This is brilliant. And that was how that decision was made. It's as simple as that.
So you just went, yes. There was one mix. I remember there was one. Was it a mix or something? Or like I think it was. I was producing the tracks, like putting extra bits on all the sounds and stuff. This is one thing that took me like, I don't know, 2 days or something. And then I sent it to Rat, and he's like, "Sounds great." And I was like, "Oh, well, that must be nice." Wow, that must be so nice. Just going, yeah, great.
That is absolutely fantastic, including our little friend here who has to be in there.
The reason I'm looking around like this, like a weirdo, is I've got a really the rough sketch of the inside gatefold because I drew out the conveyor belt. Did anyone watch Bertha as a kid? So it's a 1980s, maybe it was like mid 80s. I don't think it was 90s. I think it was the 1980s. Yeah, Bertha, lovely Bertha. Sometimes I think you're a dream. It's like this factory. It's a cartoon, I think. Is it a cartoon or like an animated series? Bertha was this factory thing. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So I had this idea of having the conveyor belt. And it's also a bit of a nod to Raggy Dolls, which is another kids' TV show from the 80s, where you have the bits of the sort of dolls discarded in the box on the side. So the idea is that you have all these different kinds of robots, and you can choose which kind of robot you are. And I'm a robot that has a heart on, like this one. And yeah, that's what that was about. Yeah, very nice.
Look at us pair wearing our own merchandise.
It's so nice. I love these. Anyway, that's not a very good explanation, but I will try and find that sketch because it's funny, because it's such it's a dreadful sketch. But the point is that you don't have to do a good sketch; you just have to do a sketch that makes some sense and puts things where you want. And then I send those things to Alex, and so he also did my Exotic Monsters artwork, and I did this terrible drawing of my face, and then a world on fire behind, and a tear in my eye, the cloud, and all the bits. And then you find someone super talented who can make it look amazing, and then you pay them. And it's fantastic, and I love it. I love working with him. He's always really good. So I'm really glad you're enjoying that stuff, because I was talking about the experience of things earlier. I think all of this stuff's really important, like the kind of paper that we picked, the kind of, the colors of the t-shirts, the color of the vinyl that matches the artwork as much as possible, that kind of stuff. I'm way behind on these questions. Sorry, we're having a good old chat. I'm enjoying myself. If there's anyone still there, thank you.
So there's a question from QRM Productions saying, sorry, this has already been asked, but is someone distributing the record in the United States? Shipping from the UK is murder. Yeah, we know. Thanks, Brexit. So
it's terrible. It's gone up recently as well. I think it was £19 to send vinyl from the UK to the US up until recently, and then it's gone up. But because we're fulfilling through a warehouse this time, so I don't have to do it, which is nice. They actually get business rates, so it's cheaper than it would cost for me to just go down the post office and send it. But no, I appreciate it's terrible. We do have a distributor. I'll try and find out who the stockist is in the US, if there are any. The problem we've had, though, is that people don't want to take a chance on a band who don't have press, and we didn't pay for press because it's a waste of money. And so that's been a bit of a catch-22, but we'll see. There's still someone shouting, "Obey Robots live!" I think you probably meant live, don't you? But Obey Robots do live. This is a good question. So the answer to that is Rat's guitars were actually recorded in a studio because, and the reason being, actually, it's Let It Snow. He recorded in his studio there. It sounds amazing. I would have been perfectly happy with that level of guitar recording, but it's a lot of work to edit things. To it's helpful to have someone else there basically doing all of the
Yeah.
legwork. I decided that wasn't going to be me because I had enough of my own editing to do. So we went to a studio and did that over 3 days?
Yeah. Yeah. And it
So
gave me a
that's
chance to use different guitars, different microphones. So whilst we talked about this, Let It Snow was me using plugins in the tool. The actual guitars recorded by Dan were old school microphone, the proper way of doing it, as I call it.
yeah. Yeah, and they do sound really good.
Yeah.
And then I produced it here in my
Mhm.
house. So I did all of the arrangements, by which I mean what instruments layer up over other things.
Mhm.
I played all those things, recorded those things, recorded the bass here, recorded the vocals here, and then we send it to be mixed. So Chris Sheldon mixed it. He's worked with the Foo Fighters and Biffy Clyro and many other people, and he's a very nice man, and he bought me a pastry and he made me a sandwich. He's a very nice man.
Mm.
So I went round his house to listen through and just meet him and things, and it was really great. So yeah, he it sounded really good before he got it, but then it sounds amazing because he mixed it. But I always prefer to have someone else mix because I've got enough on. Like I've already just sat for 4 months or whatever it is editing synth parts. So I'm happy to have someone else do it. So,
It's
yeah.
kind of interesting now the mixing because I stayed out of it. So we've all not in that way. You
Unlike
know what I mean?
everything else,
No.
you're fully involved in all the other bits.
The reason I say I stayed out of it is because we've all been there in different bands where it's 5 of you standing around a desk going, "Can you just turn me up? Can you turn me up? Can you turn me up?" And because Laura was producing the album, Laura knew what it was going to sound like. So after the first couple of mixes, obviously gone between Chris and Laura, then Laura sent them to me, and the changes that were very, very minimal. So I wasn't hiding from doing the work, but it would have just been painful for me from the very beginning going, okay, this is what I think. I want this louder there, that louder there, that louder there. And it would have just confused the entire whole process. It wasn't worth doing it that way. So, like I say, when the mixes and Laura got them saying, "Here we go, what do you think?" There was a couple of changes here and there. Laura had her changes. The main thing I always asked for was for the harmony vocals to be turned up, which was a crazy thing all the way through. And yeah, it just worked like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I took my role as producer as being get it to a certain point and then make sure Rat's cool with it, and because other people will hear things that I won't hear, and I'm not. But I am trying to listen to the whole. I'm quite good at being able to step back and listen to the whole piece of music. I'm not just listening to see if my vocals are loud enough or if my things, prominent. So it was really good to go, are your parts coming out how you wanted? Because there's quite a few layers sometimes, and I don't know what the emphasis should be necessarily on your guitar parts. But yeah, it's just little things. It was pretty. Once the mixing started, it was pretty painless. We went through a very painful period where it was supposed to be being mixed, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't, and then it wasn't, then it wasn't, and then it was all falling apart. That was horrible. But as soon as we got Chris on board, he was just super reliable and got on with things. He was busy with some famous bands for a while, but then he got around to us in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, because we'd get like one track and then we'd wait 2-3 weeks and we're like, okay, then another one would come and then like, I want more. I want them all to come back now. So yeah, patience has been high over this last year.
Yeah, it's been really difficult. Yeah. I like this question too.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I'm a big fan of horror movies. I don't know why. And I can't remember where I was shopping, and somewhere that was just on the wall. So I just literally thought, I've got to have that, and called my studio The Slaughtered Lamb.
Thing is, I know that as a pub. It's a pub in London, isn't it? Slaughtered Lamb. It's probably a pub everywhere called the Slaughtered Lamb. But it just makes me think you're hanging out in the pub recording guitars.
It's a
And
pub up
you're
the
not.
moors. Yeah, beware the
Yeah.
full moon.
Ooh. Let's have a look. This is a good one. If you do play live, will you be auditioning or using industry mates or colleagues or session people? I don't know what industry mates you think we've got. Maybe Rat has. I hadn't really thought about it. I guess I'd give Max first refusal on drums,
Yeah.
but we've never met. He might hate me.
So that's kind of an interesting thing when people say, will you put the band together? Well, we have got the band together. It's Laura, me, and if Max would do the drums, there.
Hang on. So I'll just have one hand doing that. I'll get one hand out doing that.
Exactly. We'll work on it. Yeah.
I've got some friends I would probably ask.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But Laura would be there
with a lot of hassle, isn't it?
Laura would be there with the low slung bass.
Oh yeah, totally bass. Yeah. I don't really. Bass is my most comfortable instrument to play live by far. I can jump around and sing and do everything on that. It's just been my first instrument really. So playing keyboards and stuff, like I really like doing that too, but I don't know if I could just stand there and be like blah 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 and then sing as well. I'd feel so weird like doing this. It's not really, I don't know. Ooh, it makes me feel weird. So I'll probably have to get someone to do that stuff.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it right. That's the problem, isn't it? Has to be good. Has to be really good. Someone's complimenting you on your production skills.
Yeah, and I'm getting laughed at because you're roasting me.
Just being honest. Just being honest. Any festival dates planned? We have no. I mean, come on, no. We've Rob, if you're being funny because we've talked about how we don't know, then no, nothing's planned beyond. Well,
Friday.
Tomorrow. Friday. Yes, I am planning to. I am planning to have the weekend off.
Yeah.
Thought that would be a nice treat. Maybe have a donut. Haven't got any other grand plans. How about this one?
Yes.
Bass pedal amp combo. Oh, me? Oh, bass. Okay. I always use a Fender Precision bass because it's my favorite. I played through a Sans amp DI actually, and I also record a. Obviously, it is already a DI. DI means direct input. It has a bypass as well, so I always record two different signals. One with the Sans amp turned on, and one that's just completely clean. And that's so that whoever's mixing can have a backup. You know, they tend not to have to use it, but it's handy sometimes. Or if I've decided, oh, actually, I don't like the way the Sans amp sounds, let's do something else. The reason for doing that is, well, firstly, I think Sans amps are amazing. So Sans, where is it? It's on here. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's a little pedal. I'll show you. I used to do a lot of. It's very dusty. So I'm used to from. I've been playing a lot of music recently. I used to do a lot of session work, and I also didn't have a car for a very long time till like 5 years ago or something. So there was no way of me carrying an amp around London where I lived. When I was playing with certain people, I would, if we had like 2 weeks of rehearsal somewhere, which sounds very posh, it's very rare, I would get a cab with my amp to the rehearsal and then leave it there for 2 weeks and then get a cab home. I couldn't have done it every day. It was too expensive. But then I've heard about these things. And so I started using this instead of having an amp. So I would take this to the gig and I would have it put back through the monitors on the stage so I could hear the bass. And it sounds brilliant out front. And I've played at Coco supporting Wilco Johnson in Viv Albertine's band using this. And I was standing in front of this huge amp stack thing that someone was using. And I was offered the use of it. I was like, no, I really like this. It's fine, thanks. So that's why I use that. Because I record I'm just sitting in a house. And although I do have very thick walls, I just didn't want to, really piss my neighbors off, basically. So that's why I recorded through this. The sound is excellent. There's no noise. It's really good. I am moving to a house soon where I'm going to have more space. So I'm going to keep my bass rig and I'm going to experiment and maybe compare and contrast the sound I get. There's an amp thing that I really want, but it's so expensive. It's Audio Kitchen. I just feel like it's the only thing I would ever need for bass, and it's like my dream, but it's £3,000. I cannot imagine a world in which I go, oh yeah, I'm just going to drop $3,000 on a bass thing for no reason. So I'm probably just going to stick with my Sans amp. I don't use any other pedals. for bass. I just don't like it. Some people love bass pedals. I don't. Yeah. Do you want to talk about your stuff? Your gear?
No, I'm just looking through the questions. There's one.
Yeah,
Do
he
you
doesn't.
play?
If you want to know about Rat's gear, there's 2 videos on my channel
Yeah.
that will explain. There you go.
So someone's asking, how long did it take to be able to consistently sing? I can't even say the word, let
Come
alone
on, Rat, try and say it.
Horizonte da a day.
But think about how it goes. It goes
Horizonte
die.
Horizonte die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't take long. It sounds difficult, but it's not, because the thing is, I already had the melody. I had the melody that went da 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 da, and then I looked it up on Wikipedia, porcupines, to learn about them and try and get some ideas for the lyrics. And I saw Erythrizontidae and Hystricidae. And my only question to myself and to Twitter that day was, is it Erythrizontidae or Erythrizontidae? Because it didn't matter. It didn't actually matter for the song, because it only had to rhyme with the other word. So if it was Hystricidae, then it would be Erythrizontidae. But if it's Hystricidae, then it's Erythrizontidae. They're not. It's not that hard, especially when you do it in a song. I actually was that was super easy. And again, I will direct you back to another video on my channel where I'm writing porcupine. I looked it up. Just looked it up on Wikipedia, and I was gifted these words, and that was one of those, like, really, really close to the end of this recording session, going, we got the mixing booked, got to finish the words to that pesky song I haven't quite finished, and then just knocked it out in a couple of hours. And that is a really nice thing to happen when you've got a deadline. It's not, I wouldn't recommend it for stress levels, but worked out pretty well in that case. It's a good one.
Me, yes. Laura?
No, I'm a cassette girl. Always cassette and then CD and then download. I like things to sound super high quality, so I like 48K WAVs. That's my preferred method of listening, through my lovely speakers in my studio or through my nice headphones. That's what I prefer. But what I love about vinyl is that it encourages people to immerse themselves in a body of work. And what a treat as an artist to have that commitment that you have from someone who's decided to sit down and put vinyl on, because they know they've got to stand up and turn it over at some point, and then they're going to sit down again. And so there's that little journey. So you have a listen, you stand up, you move, you turn a thing, you sit down. It's beautiful. I love that. I really love it. And I love how the artwork can be bigger, and I love the different colors and stuff. So as an artistic piece, I'm a big fan. But it's not how I would listen to music. I own about four records, and I forget where they are even. I don't know where they are. But my husband loves vinyl, so he makes up for me in that respect.
The next question's a good one.
Well, this one.
Yeah. What did you learn from this process that you didn't know before? Everything. I knew nothing about how you do this in this day and age. A few things might have changed since the 90s, was my initial thought. Everything has changed since the 90s, even the terminology. So what did I learn from this process? I started from scratch, absolutely clueless, as some of the first ideas that went across to Laura would sound. And I have grown into doing it through this process. That's my answer to that question. Everything.
I just can't imagine how different it is releasing an album on a major label in the 1990s to doing it this way. Where I'm like, what color should the vinyl be, Rat? And you're like, oh, we can choose, sort of thing. Like, where does it come from? How does it get made?
Yeah.
It's I've only learned by doing it. I've just been doing it a long time.
So the one exciting thing for me, which goes back to the vinyl, is we have actually been invited up to Press on Vinyl to actually go and see vinyl being made. And they even did a video of one of ours being made, which
gonna have
soon
to share that.
We're going to have to share that.
Yeah. Did you know, Rat, they let you stamp one of your own?
Oh,
you can pull the thing down and boop. I even had a man
No,
explain to me how the music goes into it, and it sort of makes sense because I've never understood that. It's like witchcraft, isn't it? How is
yeah.
music played from that?
I mean, it's exciting to have an album released on a major label, but you are detached in some way from it. You know a date, and that's it. The machine takes over with the pressing plant, the distribution, and you just know your start date of when it's coming out, and then that's it. And it is exciting to have any media going out there, but this has been so close to both of us. It's been properly, yeah, full on. It's a different feeling, and they're both great feelings. That's all I can say.
How did you enjoy it when I drove a very full car of boxes up to your house and then deposited them in the living room for you? Boxes of
So,
CDs and
so,
books and
so my
badges.
living room is full of boxes of CDs. I've got all the merch here, as I do, books and
Oh,
everything.
very good. Look at
And
this
look,
pro. He's not scared of the camera anymore, is he? Look at that.
no, I'm not with the cassette tape and
Oh,
badges. Um,
so pretty.
and Laura said, like, so I had to take them to the distribution center the next day. And I thought, okay, I'll get up early and start signing it. And Laura's
I
messaging
thought
me
you'd
about lunchtime.
underestimated the time that
I
that
did,
was gonna take you, yeah.
yes. And then Laura messaged me at lunchtime going, you've got to be there by 3. And I'm looking at these boxes and I'm thinking, I'm miles off. Oh my God, the ink's not drying. So it actually went from my living room into my kitchen, up into here. So it was all over my house. And yes, I vastly underestimated how long that was going to take.
It's funny because I knew you had, and I was thinking, "Don't say anything. This guy's signed loads of stuff. He knows what he's doing." But I'd spent many hours on the weekend beforehand signing my bit of the book, signing my bit of the CD and everything. And I watched a lot of episodes of comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, which I'd never really watched before. It's quite good. I was like, yeah, I watched a lot of those. So I think it's going to take him longer than he thought. But
Well, to put something
you
into
did it.
perspective, when when we were shooting the porcupine video, Laura had to take a Stanley knife off me at one point because she just stopped there, stared at me, and said, "There's going to be an accident in here, and I think it's going to be you."
Well, you were just okay. No one knows this about this costume that Rat made. He couldn't see anything. So when he was sending me these pictures of this amazing robot character, I love it so much, and I was like, have you got any eye holes though, and anything for breathing? He's like, oh, I can breathe. I can see enough. And I was thinking, I don't know that you can, because if you're literally inside a box, you can't see a thing. And then so at the shoot, he was blundering around in these boxes. He couldn't see anything. Like he nearly like smashed into a light, and I was like trying to get him to go. The thing is, he couldn't hear me either. So I'm shouting, "Rat, stop, stop!" And then I was like banging on the box, like, "Can you hear me?" And he said, "No." And then he turned around. He's doing all these amazing, the jerky movements. I just thought he's going to give himself whiplash now. He's got to drive himself home tonight. And my house is full of boxes. He can't stay here. It's a great day.
Oh, that look of relief on your face when you said, we could clear the room if you wanted to stay. And I said, no, I'll go home. You were like, okay, cool, shut door.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. It's so full. Yeah. People ask me how I get so much stuff done. It's like I literally don't clean my house. It's horrendous in here right now. And what I'd done with my costume, which was very foolish, was not I didn't weigh the head. So I got what I thought was it was the right size for my head, and it seemed like a really good sturdy box. I thought that's what I'll use for the head. Painted it up and everything. It was a box that my vinyl has come in before, so it's like reinforced. And then I put it on. I was just like, oh, this is really really painful. So there's bits I can tell how annoyed I am, because I'm just in the scenes I used in the edit for that, where I'm wearing the head, because I could just remember, I can feel the pain, like my shoulders are so sore and it's really painful. And I just got my eyes closed, willing for it to be over, because it was really fun, but that bit was just really arduous. Anyway.
Well, my anxiety started before I even left my house, if you remember, because I went to put the body in my car and it wouldn't fit. So I had to perform minor surgery on the robot body. And when we got to the the town hall, the village hall where we were shooting it, there was like a surgery table laid out just for me to put it back together again.
Brilliant. You thought that the police were going to pull you over, didn't you, for some reason? I don't know why you thought that.
How can I explain that away? Where are you going? I'm going with my friend.
You're a rock star in a village hall. I mean, obviously. I'm just when I look like this, I'm not checking my emails. I'm looking to see if anyone's put any good questions. Well, they're all good questions, but I'm trying to find the questions. This is a good question. Yes, I will. If you're asking me, I don't know what Rat's probably a sellout.
No, I'm not. So we keep getting something saying, "Oh, it'd be good if you're signed." I am signed. I'm signed to Laura's My Big Sister Records. That's where we are signed to.
Yeah. It's not unsigned. No. It's
not unsigned. So I don't know from what Laura's done. Let's face facts. Laura's done this up until this week to get us to number 5 in the midweek charts. What could a big label offer us when it's already been done?
That looks nice, doesn't it?
It does. So
it's so baffling, this whole thing.
There's also a weird thing about big labels now, which, without me going into a rant, there's a time and a place for them. I've got no problem with them if that's what they want to do. But what a lot of people don't know about is the contracts that they offer these days is called a 360-degree contract. So way back in the 90s, you got an advance and you recoup that off record sales, but you had to pay for your video and everything, whatever. The 360 contracts enables the record company to take a percentage of your merchandise, your live fee, your PRS, everything. They take money from you. Why would we want that?
I've heard a brilliant story. It's not brilliant, it's terrible, but it's a brilliant example of how terrible it can be. So there's a band who are on a big label. They've signed away 80% of everything. So it's 360, like you say. So they got paid £100,000 for a gig. So this is a band you've probably heard of. £100,000 each. There's 2 members who are signed. Each of them walked away with £800 each from that gig, because they had to pay for the production of the venue production, all that stuff, and then all of the rest of the money goes to the label. And now, if that's a fair exchange where they're giving you so much that you could never get for yourself, and then you get to live off, making your music, and it's cool because someone else is going to take all of the stress away. Like, it's very stressful trying to front money for vinyl, and all this, it gets really expensive very quickly. It's very stressful. Very stressful indeed. But so that's all taken away from you. But these 2 people are also, they have to have another job, and they're taking universal credit off the government as well. That's the situation they're in. And there's nothing wrong with taking those their government support, of course, but they're signed to a major label. How is that right, that they're not allowed to eat off of their art? That's wrong, in my opinion. So I would never sign any deal that wasn't 50-50. I am definitely open to licensing albums, and I'm open to having help, because I do hope that by proving, because this is my 2nd time in the charts, I'm very pleased to say, all because of you. I didn't do it myself. I made the thing, and then I tried to share it as much as I could, and then people ran with it. And that is an astonishing thing that you do for us. And I will never not be so grateful and thankful for people who choose to buy music. And I say this all the time, but you choose, because you can listen to it for free. If you didn't know that, ignore that. You can't. You have to buy it. That is an amazing thing that you gift to us. It makes me think that what I'm doing is worth something, and it is worth spending time on and effort on. So thank you very much. But because this is the 2nd time I've managed to do that, I really hope that counts for something, to some good people doing good things, because I think it's very easy to dismiss a whole industry or a whole bunch of people as like no good, which is obviously not true. So there are some really good people, very talented, honest people. Hang on, maybe not. I was going to say in the music business, maybe not. Maybe that's ridiculous. I like to think there are ways that I don't have to do all the bits next time, because it gets a bit old, to be honest, having to do all I'm talking about the boring things, like, looking at a spreadsheet and stuff. Making the music I love, I remember getting to a point with this where I could see ahead of me all of this, and I felt like, do I have the energy to do this, like in this big way, or should we sort of like dial it back? And I'm not really one for dialing anything back. There's no point just sticking it up on Bandcamp and crossing your fingers, not making anything to, to go with it, like the artwork and the vinyl and the stuff. So I'm glad we've done it exactly how we have. That was a long speech.
Yeah.
Normally I do these alone, so it's very nice that you're here. Still people here. Video outtakes. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh God.
There's loads of video outtakes somewhere. I don't think I've got any of you falling over, unfortunately, but we could recreate perhaps. Are you looking forward? Rat, are you looking forward to your impending fame?
No, I don't think it is fame. It's just being known. No, I've never classed myself as being famous in the first place.
You actually probably were.
Maybe, but I'm just.
Sorry, I didn't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean, when you're on the telly a lot.
I'm just me. So what you see on the videos and what you're seeing here now is just me. There isn't. I can't really be anything else.
Yeah. I find it so funny. Like I don't know if this is really what people think, but like I'm just a dork who sits literally here most of the week, like 50 hours a week, sitting at my desk here, making stuff, might make some music. Haven't done music for a while, but might make some music. I don't know what I'm doing here. Make some videos. Not tidy up. Like I sit here all the time making stuff, chatting to people online and stuff. When I turn my computer off, there isn't like a red carpet and some champagne and a holiday in the Bahamas or anything. Just absolutely regular idiots, like just doing some stuff, aren't we? No offense. I'm talking about myself. That's it. And I think that's why I wanted to. I always try and put that into songs, actually. Like that's why the theme of this album is 1 in 1,000. There's no celebrity weird thing where like, my fabulous life also includes putting music out. Like my life is as fabulous as I decide it is. My favorite thing is going to sometimes get a donut to celebrate putting the song out, and I love my dogs and my husband, and I really like watching The West Wing at the moment, and that's it. So yeah, there is no thing where suddenly we're being recognized in the street. Like I just live in this funny little villagey bit of Bristol. I mean, I do know people in the post office because I go there a lot. And I know the guy in the cafe. He knows what coffee I like. But that's about it, really. And I really hate the idea anyway of some weird life where people would just like scream at you all the time. Because I've worked for people when I was doing session work. I've worked for quite well-known pop stars, and it was horrendous. They hated it. They hated being screamed at by girls in the street. It sounds like that's sort of supposed to be everyone's dream or something, but it's actually quite horrible. When I was playing for Duncan James, who was in Blue, or is in Blue, but he was doing a solo thing, and I was playing bass for him for a while. Like girls would run across the street screaming. They wouldn't look at if there was any cars coming. They would just run. And I was terrified I was going to see, young girls mown down in the street. It was horrible. And he didn't like it. He didn't like being shouted at, So any of that stuff is not appealing. It would be nice to be able to just keep making music, really. That's what I like doing.
Yeah.
That's it, really. And then put it out. Is that a boring answer?
We are really boring.
Boring. The West Wing is so good. I mean, I'm 24 years late to this. I do appreciate that. But I've never seen it before. And I just was like, I'm blown away. Bought the DVD box set to save money as well. So I didn't have to like pay for because on Amazon it's quite expensive to keep. Anyway, we digress. Sorry. It feels like I'm just talking to you, Rat, like we're just zooming, but I know there are people watching. I keep forgetting.
Well, because of your recommendation, I'm watching Alice in Borderland.
Oh, it's so good.
I know,
Alice in Borderland is fantastic.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. Yes. What's happened is, so I'm very careful when it comes to ordering merch, because it's really horrible to have stuff you haven't sold just sitting around in the house. Sucks. Really sucks. So I was just really careful with that. And also, I never assume people are going to buy stuff. So why should you? If you want the things, that's cool. But if you don't, that's also fine. So I was very careful, quite conservative on the numbers of t-shirts. I know we've sold out of things. So what we're going to do, tomorrow, we are going to order some more. I don't know if I'm going to do all the designs, definitely the robot one, because people have been asking about that. If you do have any other requests for t-shirts and sizes, email me, laura@penfriend.rocks. Just let me know which ones I should definitely do, because that just helps me to get the numbers. You're not committed to buying them. It's just good to know, like if everyone's a medium or if everyone's a 3XL, like we can go up to 4XL in black is easy. There were some problems with the colors and some of the other colors for larger sizes, which is really annoying. But definitely black is fine. So I'll try and do the whole range of that. Yes, there will be some more, and I'll send you an email probably next week, letting you know when that's restocked. Or probably it'll be restocked. You could have a look in a few days, but I'll make sure people know as well. Would you do TV? I mean, yeah, I guess.
Guess, yeah.
I don't know. I have to have a really good reason to leave the home, you know. I just don't care. Like I do care. What I care about is making music and talking to you and talking to Rat and talking to my husband and hanging out with my dogs and, you know, talking to my family. I've done all that stuff, and Rat, you have too, but I've done it for other people. It wasn't my music on the telly. It was me playing for someone else on the telly. It was exciting, but there aren't even any music shows. Like if Jules Holland invited us, sure.
I don't know what TV shows there are now. I don't watch TV.
There is Jules Holland though. So that if Jules Holland asked us on, I don't think we'd be going, nah, can't be asked. I think I'd be going to that one. I'd do that one.
Actually, thinking of TV shows, we missed an answer when we were asked earlier about what's our favourite review by a peer.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be Zig and Zag.
That was a good one. That's a very good one.
So if anyone remembers Zig and Zag from The Big Breakfast, the creator tweeted our robot video, and that made my day. So I've been casually chatting to Zig and Zag. Maybe they should be in the band.
Why not? And do you know what? I really wanted to leave Twitter recently, but it's too good. Like we're getting to talk to Zig and Zag. I can't leave now. Hoodies. Oliver, yes, also hoodies. Let me know if you want hoodies. The hoodies are so good, and I just did so few. This is honestly, I just thought, because the unit price of a hoodie is quite a lot. So, you know, we try to not have to put too much money on top of something to sell it to you. I'm not trying to make, you know, rip you off, obviously. It needs to be really good quality stuff, affordable and whatnot. But so I just was really careful. I think I only ordered 60 hoodies because I just thought, I don't want that many hoodies in the house. I don't want them here. So, okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know what things you want. Vince, we do. Yeah, we had the orange ones, orange and blue ones. Let me know if you want the porcupine ones, or I'll reprint them all, whatever you want. I just want to be a bit careful and not end up with loads left over. That's all. This is a good one.
Yes, he played us. Well, he played "Let It Snow" when that came out, which was really cool, and then he played us last week, completely out the blue. Laura got an email from the show's producer asking for a copy because Steve would like to play it, and that was pretty amazing. And really I do believe he's mentioned us tonight on his show as well, encouraging people to go and buy the album, which is really cool.
Really cool.
But anyone that's met,
yeah, go on.
As I say, anyone that's met Steve will know he's an absolutely amazing guy. He is lovely. He's Mr. Gig. Yeah.
He's played a few of my songs in the past as well, but because I'm always doing stuff under different names, I just think, oh, he won't be able to keep up here. So that was really lovely. And Gideon Co played a track as well last week.
Yes.
And then I heard from two gentlemen on the internet who, Scott and Andrew separately, had emailed the shows. You know, they'd written in going, I'm a BBC license payer. I'm really into this album. I think you should play them. They're really good. And that's probably how they heard, because I didn't send anything to the radio this time. So, yeah. People power is the whole thing.
There is also that random thing about British Airways.
Yeah, that was a tweet thing. So that's the guy who's been really supportive of me over the last decade or something tagged me in a tweet where someone wanted some music for British Airways. They're making a radio show. So random. A radio show made up of artists from Bristol and the Midlands. So I was like, well, that's perfect because I live in Bristol and Rat's in the Midlands. And so Super Connected is going to be played on BA flights for the next 6 months or something at some point. So that's really cool. Yeah, nice.
It's random as hell.
Yeah. It's just nice. I think that radio used to be a thing where if you got on the radio, people, you'd sell out your gig the following week. It's that kind of power. It doesn't have that now. It's just nice. It just feels nice. It's not a marketing plan. It's just a thing where it's really cool. It feels nice. And I don't know if you like. There's a short on my channel where I genuinely came back from watching Spinal Tap. It's so random. I was watching Spinal Tap at the Slapstick Festival in Bristol the other week. They'd arranged for this special showing of it, and I hadn't seen it since I was like 22 or something. And Tim's never seen it, so I took him to see it. And then we got back, and we leave the radio on for our dogs so that they're, if they're barking, no one can hear them. And then I let them out in the garden, and then I heard Porcupine, and I was like, how is that playing in the kitchen? I don't understand. And it's just like my brain couldn't handle it. It just couldn't understand. And I walked back in the house and I was going, Tim. And I ran over, and it was like, I luckily had my phone nearby, and I just was like, I have to film this to show Rat that our name is on the radio, like on the DAB thing. There's a little like a screen, isn't there? And it like, it's like Gideon Cole, Obey Robots, Porcupine. It's like, what's happening? So again, like he didn't email me to ask. He just obviously found the track himself, and it's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Can't believe it. Nice things are happening, but it's all because of you. I'm not talking to you, Rat. You.
I know.
It's not because of Rat.
None of it's because of me. No.
Well, it's all because of you, but yes. But specifically, people talking about things.
Yeah.
You need to know how powerful that is. Like I will never lie to you. Like I don't know. I know a lot of musicians do lie and go, "Oh, I've just done all this myself," but actually, it's a label or something. There's no one else here. There's a couple of dogs in the corridor barking at each other. There's Rat. There's me. My husband Tim has been doing the Facebook ads. If you're here because you found us through a Facebook ad, thank you so much for taking a chance. I made a Facebook ad where I said at the beginning, not all Facebook ads are evil. I'm a musician trying to use every tool I can find to share my music with you. Please give this a chance. And people really enjoyed that. And it's just, we're just using the tools that we can find. We have a modest following on different social media platforms. There's no millions of streams. There's no hundreds of thousands of followers or anything. Speaking of which, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel because I really am trying so hard to get that up. And I really think it's very helpful to be able to share things with you in that way. And I think that it's been really good for this record, actually, not just the music videos, but showing Rat's setup and talking about songwriting and things. And I really enjoy doing that. I have vast enjoyment sitting here on my own, making videos and putting them on the internet. I really enjoy it because it's one other way of communicating with you, and doing live streams as well. I usually do a live stream every couple of months where I perform. I haven't played the guitar all year, so I'm going to have to practice for the next one. But I just love all this stuff. I think that it's nice to be able to reach people further than we can if we would just do a tour in the UK, for instance. Not to say that wouldn't also be magical and fun, and we'll see what happens with that. But I just love that we can do this. Isn't it lovely to just sit and have a chat? I mean, people are still here. I can see that people haven't all chipped off yet. So you must be having a nice time, or if not, then what are you doing to yourself? Go do something else. What are you doing? Thank you, Paul. I'll tell Tim that you found out about Penfriend on Facebook. And Andrew. There you go. It works. Just while we're talking about things, if you haven't picked up a copy of the album yet, you're very welcome to. We have alluded to the fact that you choose to pay for music these days, and that's fine. I always say, and I do mean it, that if people aren't in a position to buy things, that's fine. Like there's a lot going on in the world that is much more important than me putting a record out. That will always be the case. So please never feel bad about that stuff. However, you can see the difference it makes. So the reason that hang on a sec. Oh, the reason that, that our album is number freaking 5 in the midweek charts is because people have bought copies of it.
Yeah.
And it's a vote, really. It's a vote for independent music. And I'm not trying to be part of the mainstream, never have wanted that. I'm not trying to be a pop star, not interested in being famous. I'd like to keep being a working musician, keep being able to make records that I care about. I will never make music to try and get in a chart. I just make whatever I make, and then I try to share it as widely as possible, which is what I did with Exotic Monsters, which is what we're doing with this together. I will always try and make a really fun range of merch. So we do have hardcover lyric and photo books. It's also got stories in there. There's a letter from Rat. There's some photos of behind the scenes with a porcupine video. All sorts of fun stuff in there. So it's much more than lyrics. There's that. We've got the Rats modeling the pic tin with signed pics inside, one from each of us. There's badge packs packed into their little cases by me and Tim one night. CDs, vinyl, bloody blah, t-shirts, stuff, nice things. So if you want nice things, go get them. If you can't get them, that's okay. Pick up some others, listen digitally. If you go to Bandcamp, penfriendrocks.bandcamp.com, you can download all of the singles for free anyway. There's a bunch of free stuff on there. There's loads of stuff on the YouTube channel. That's always obviously free. And that actually really helps me because I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. That really helps because subscribers and views and clicks and likes and blah, blah, all that stuff. It means it gets sent to other people through the robot algorithm. So that is good. If you are watching YouTube videos by anyone, if you do click like on things that you like, it helps that person who created it just to share their stuff. But, just if you love what we're doing, please share it with a friend as well. This is just the midweek chart. Hang on. The midweek chart, which means we will not be number 5 on Friday, I would think. I think The Weeknd has plans to pip us at the post there, I would think. I certainly think that his record label will be pulling their socks up tomorrow and doing some work. So anyway, that's not the end result. It's a very fun high number that I'm very grateful for. It's very silly and fun. But yeah, it would be lovely to get a top 20 album just to really do that sticking it to the man thing, just to prove that, a bunch of us who really care about something can make something happen. There's so much in life that I don't feel in control of. When I work on my music and I work on my videos, I can feel in control of something. There's a big wide world and everything's horrible, and there's a lot going on. So I think that's what we all do, isn't it? Is try to make sense of our place in the world.
It's going to be interesting because the midweek goes to everyone in the industry, and there's going to be a lot of people going into the office tomorrow in their record labels with someone going, "How did this happen?"
Sorry, The Weeknd. Weeknd's crying himself to sleep tonight.
And that's us giving it to the man that we've nicked someone's place in the top 5.
Yeah.
And that this stuff gets noticed. So
it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is my 6th album of original music that I have been involved in. 5 of them are solo. This is, obviously collaborative. Maybe on the second and third and fourth, I kept thinking, oh, this will be the one. This will change my life. This has the potential to whatever. I don't even know what I meant by that, but that's how I think it's easy to think of things that way. Now I just think this is really fun, and it's a really lovely way to spend time with people who enjoy the music that I make, the music that Rat makes. It's really been really fun making the videos, just hanging out and just doing silly things and whatever. And I don't need something to change my life anymore because I really like my life, because it's something that I've built up over all of these years of just trying to be myself. And that's a really nice feeling, actually. But it doesn't mean I don't care. Of course I care. And it's just hilarious, isn't it? Why are we number 5? Come on.
Douglas, you're right. It happened due to us. It did. It happened due to every single one of you.
Yeah. I mean, I know we made the stuff. I'm not pretending that we didn't make something that we loved. If we didn't love it, we wouldn't be sharing it with you in the first place. And then, that's the thing. we didn't do this, you did this. I'm not talking to you, Rat.
Oh, no, I'm just reading this comment here saying by Minnie Birch saying, "Oh my gosh, I love the idea of all the Monday morning major label meetings discussing this."
Yeah.
Secretly, so do I, because I find it quite comical in a good way.
I had such a funny conversation last time. So the Penfriend album got to number 24 in the chart, which was very exciting and cool. And again, not down to me, it's down to people buying it. Thank you very much. A man got in touch saying that he was interested in, well, he's a manager, he's interested in talking to me. And I thought, do you know what, a manager would be really helpful, because maybe they could talk to the warehouse and they could do this and that and the other thing. That'd be really handy. And we had a talk for about an hour and a half where he quizzed me on everything, like how I do everything. And I was like, And then I said to him, so what do you do for your artists then? And he's like, oh yeah, I've got to go now. And he sort of left the call. And I thought, I think I've just done a free consultation for someone. Never heard from him again. So what I'm looking forward to is some, those kinds of messages where I can say that my fee's very high now that I'm a top 5 midweek charting artist. So thank you very much for that as well, for helping me stick it to the man one by one. That'd be fun.
And we might as well mention we've got a big thing going on tomorrow night as well at 9 p.m.
Yes, we do.
For those that are on Twitter or not on Twitter, there'll be instructions we'll be posting in a bit. And it's Tim Burgess from the Charlatans started up a thing called Tim's Listening Party, and he's actually doing the Obey Robots album.
He's great.
Which is kind of cool.
Kind of.
Very cool. It's very cool. Very, very,
very cool.
Yeah.
So it's starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow. It was originally 8, but it's now 9. If you're on the mailing list, I sent you a link today. I sent you a link today to instructions in an email. If you're not on the mailing list, why on earth aren't you? Please join it. Go to penfriend.rocks. There's a big post-it looking button that you can sign up, and I'll send you some stuff. Just want to give you loads of things. And yeah, there's more stuff coming. There's more videos coming. There's, as I say, a special edition of my Attention Engineer podcast. Haven't started editing it yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be out on Wednesday. If not, it'll be out on Thursday. And I don't know. I've been checking through, because I'm also doing the customer service. So when I'm checking through the Facebook comments, for the most part, I'm trying to just make sure there's no problems with people's stuff. If you do have any problems with your orders, please just email me like you would a shop. Let's not do this on Facebook. It's really difficult to keep track of. But yeah, so I've been doing that a bit. And I think that there's a thing where if someone like says something horrible to you and you decide that doesn't mean anything, then I almost feel like if someone gives you a compliment, it has to mean the same, as in not like believing your own hype, getting sucked into sort of egotistical ways of being. I don't want to be that person. I never have. So I've always tried to take compliments, accept them and thank people for them, but then not be like believing it, because someone can say something's amazing, like, and they can feel that this a song or something is amazing. And it's not that that's not true for them. It's their feeling is that, but it doesn't mean I'm amazing and I should act like I'm better than other people. I don't know why I'm saying any of this, but anyway, that's how I feel about compliments. So I think I've kind of skimmed over them a bit because of a fear of, like, I don't know, falling into some sort of hype machine of my own making. But I do appreciate them. It means so much to me that the songs are affecting you, that you're enjoying, that you're listening to it so much. So please feel free to bring on the compliments. We will read them. But I just try to be a bit careful about that stuff, because I don't know. I think also because I'm so pleased with what we've made. If we put it out and people didn't really like it that much, it wouldn't ruin my enjoyment of it. I think it's great. I love it. I love listening to it. I'm very proud of it.
I've been listening to it non-stop. I'm not going to lie.
I know you have. Brilliant.
In between work. Brilliant. So I'll be enjoying all the comments tonight and everything that's going to go on. And then at 8 a.m. tomorrow, as I join my morning prayers call, and the next day starts of my normal day.
Yeah.
Quite a juxtaposition. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sitting here at this desk tomorrow editing that podcast for you all. And What's that? Thank you so much for the nice compliments. Thank you, Ed, for listening to the Facebook ad. See, they're not all
Yeah.
evil. Some are. So, you know, I get shown some really cool stuff that you know, that suits me because you know it's some of it's a bit intrusive, I guess, but some of it is just like they'll show you stuff that you probably like because you like other things, and I think that's quite helpful sometimes. It's certainly lovely to have the word spread as it has been doing. It's really exciting. One last question, David Maguire. Do you know if he sold many copies of Exotic Monsters off the back of Tim's listening party? Yeah, I think there was a lot actually, because also I had a problem with the last release, which was that the fulfillment center didn't add up the sales properly. So, and they didn't report them for the midweek. So I should have been number 11 in the midweek. I'll always remember that number. But I was number 36 instead, and it was really disappointing because we'd worked incredibly hard to do you know this kind of thing, and it wasn't counted up properly, and that was gutting. So for me, today is especially exciting because this is the day that I had hoped to have with that record too. And again, charts schmaltz, but it's about like respecting people's choices. So you had all bought, you know, people who had bought Exotic Monsters had made that choice, but it wasn't being reflected in the numbers, and it just really annoyed me. And that post that I wrote on Facebook surfaced again on the weekend because someone commented on it, and then loads of people thought it was happening again, but it's not. It's not happening again. Okay. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, if you're obsessed with 1 in 1,000 and you need to hear some more things with the same singer producer on, that's available. Oh, also that. Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to feel like this is how I start feeling. I start to feel like, oh, I'm sure you've got other things to do. You know. Thank you so much for coming to spend the time with us, though.
And I'd say I've really enjoyed this. This has been really good fun. And thank you, everybody. Just thank you. I am literally speechless. Thank you.
Making us so happy. It's amazing. And I will let it sink in at some point. But there's just a lot of work to do this week to make sure everyone gets their orders and things like that. But then I think I'm going to, I'll take the weekend and just really sit and think about what I've done. But I will probably do. Now I found this amazing software. It's called StreamYard. It works amazingly. I've had lots of trouble with live streams in the past, and this is great. So I think what I would like to do is do a few more of these with different guests, and Brat's very welcome to pop back at some point. So again, please subscribe, click like, all those things, because it helps to spread the word. It also helps to show me that you actually want the things, because I'm just making things hoping really that I'm getting it right, that I'm sharing the right kinds of things for you to enjoy. That's the point of it. So always feel free to comment, get in touch with us, ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess we better go. My dogs
Bye
are barking.
all.
Love you all. Take care.
Yeah,
Bye.
love you all. Bye.
Let's wave like we're on the steamer ship in the 1920s. Bye.
Like